Doobity-doobity-doo. Doobity-doobity-doom. Ba-doom. Ba-doom. Boom. Bam, 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 bam. Bam, bam. Doobie-doop. Shooby-doop. Bam, 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 bam. Bam, 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 bam. Bam, bam, bam. Bam, bam, bam. Ba-dum, boom, boom. Ba-da-dum, boom, boom. Bam, bam, bam. Bam, bam, bam. Bam, bam. Bam, bam, bam. Biddy-doo-biddy-doo-biddy, bam, bam. Biddy-doo-biddy-boo-biddy, boom, boom. Biddy-doo-biddy-boo-biddy, bam, biddy-biddy-boo-biddy, boom, boom, boom. Ba-da-dum, boom, boom. Ba-da-dum, boom, boom. Da-dum, boom, boom. Boom, boom, boom. Boom, 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 boom. Bam, 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 bam. Biddy-doo-biddy-doo-biddy-ding-biddy-ding. All right, ready? Hello everyone, I'm Yesenia Guadalupe and this is Decolonizing Is. Today, there's a lot to talk about. I want to start locally because Miami-Dade County Public Schools just decided to require a mask mandate, thank God. And it still surprises me how many people call things like mask mandates during a global pandemic like a communist like ploy, how they feel like their rights are being stepped on because they can't decide if their kids can wear or not wear masks. And I don't think it should surprise me, right? But it's very upsetting to see how much people don't care about each other and don't care about life. And I don't want to generalize, right? Because I'm sure that these people think that their decisions and their beliefs don't affect people's lives. But I have a lot of friends who are nurses, and the amount of death that we have been exposed to as a society, and especially folks who work in healthcare, have experienced over the last year is really devastating. It's really devastating, it's really soul crushing, and it's really sad that that some of us would rather have the quote unquote right to not protect another human being or another human being's wellness or health just because we want to. I think that there's a lot of like social responsibility that's lost on us as Americans, whether we're, born in the United States or naturalized citizens. We never really prioritize solidarity because to me, right, so I'll say what I feel, to me, something like wearing a mask is a slight inconvenience that is worth doing in order to save another person's life. If we know that something like wearing a mask and social distancing and staying away from crowded places, right, is effective in not transmitting this disease, then that's the fucking least we could do. And I think that people don't think about it because they're not the ones that are dealing with the reality of the death that's happening and of the deaths that are occurring because of things like anti-vaxxers and anti-maskers. And I'll give a disclaimer. I did not want to get vaccinated. I'm not an anti-vaxxer. I just don't trust the process of how this vaccine was created or how these vaccines were created. I don't trust the expedited process, right? And I don't agree with how our government has allowed pharmaceutical companies to get away with passing on the liability to us as the general public. I think that people would be more inclined to get vaccinated if we as a society and our government officials were holding pharmaceutical companies responsible for what happens to folks if down the line vaccines cause harm. But instead, we're all the ones that have to sign the waivers. And guess what? I did that. I got vaccinated, I signed the waiver, and I did it because I decided that going with saving the most lives was my duty to my community, to my family, to folks who cannot get vaccinated for other reasons, right? For health reasons, who are unable to be vaccinated. Me getting vaccinated means that I have less of a likelihood to die from this disease. And if I continue to mask, right, then I have less of a likelihood to transmit the disease to other people. And so these are just facts, y'all. These are just facts, you know? And also, it's the level of entitlement and privilege that we have as Americans to deny something like a mask or a vaccine when folks all over the world would die and are dying to have the access that we have. I don't even think irresponsible is the right word, but it's the only one that comes to mind right now. But honestly, y'all, it's really fucking sad, you know, that we would rather a huevo tell schools or tell teachers or tell city officials that I want my kid to not wear a mask to the detriment of the health of everybody else in that classroom, in that school. Already outbreaks have happened and are happening over the summer in schools. Children are dying from this disease, bro, you know? And if all we need to do, right, is put on a fucking mask to minimize the number of deaths and save even one life, that shit should be worth it to us. And it's sad that it's not, you know, but I think that's where we all have to take some responsibility for being proactive in our own learning and awareness, right? Because at the end of the day, folks are doing the best that they can with the information that they have. And unfortunately, some folks do not vet information, do not look for credible sources, do not listen to science, do not listen to folks who study this shit, you know? And at some point, we have to take responsibility for our learning and be proactive and listen to people who know more than us. This is a county where a lot of folks think that they know everything. And I'll be the first to say, I may sit here in front of y'all and talk my shit every other week, but I don't know everything. And you know, all the things that I talk about, I read about and I look into before I speak. And if I ever speak out of turn, which I'm sure happens all the fucking time, you know, I'm open to learning. And even after this shit airs, I keep reading and I keep learning, right? Because that's my responsibility to myself, to my community, to the people I love. I feel like we should all do that. So yeah, you know, be careful who you trust. Ron DeSantis, a lot of, you know, not to make this shit partisan, but the reality is a lot of Republican governors, government officials make money off of y'all dying, off of us dying. Ron DeSantis has a donor who gave $10 million to his campaign. And this person is invested in the COVID treatment that Ron DeSantis is now hawking all over the state of Florida. When guess what, y'all? You can get a vaccine for free. We gotta think, why are these people telling us not to do something, right? What are their motivations? Why, right? There's always a reason why. So we need to be proactive and start thinking about who we trust and what other factors may be at play. And a lot of the time, it's money, it's power, it's influence. It's not our best interest. These people, these representatives, are telling you not to get vaccinated and not to put masks on your kids, and their kids are going to private schools that require masks, and they are getting fucking booster shots for their vaccinations. So, ¿quién es el pendejo? No sean pendejos, bro. Don't fall for this shit. And I say it because I care. I care about people, you know? I care about people's lives, you know? A breath. The other thing I wanted to talk about today is the state of the world, the state of our collective consciousness, mental health, reckoning with the world that we have created. And I say we have created because we all have to assume responsibility for all the fucked up shit that happens in this world. Because at the end of the day, y'all, it's all us. It's all human beings. And it's us not being proactive in our own communities. No matter how bleak some shit is, there's always something that I can do. There's always something that you can do. And as somebody who grew up being like a good kid who followed directions, this is something that I learned way later in life. To be motivated for myself, to be resilient, to be proactive, to take initiative. There are things that I still struggle with because unfortunately, we're taught in the American school system to obey, to follow directions, and that's good enough, right? For their ends, for the ends of capitalism, for the ends of creating workers and not critical thinkers. And we have to take responsibility for the things that are happening. And even if it's not your fault, right? Quote unquote, your fault directly, we shouldn't have to wait to fuck up ourselves to take ownership of the places that we live and the things that we do. Right now, Lebanon is in a blackout. They got no internet, no electricity. There's a fuel crisis. Folks are dying, y'all. In Haiti, 1,941 people have been reported dead from the earthquake that just happened. Afghanistan, the Taliban has taken over Afghanistan. The US has pulled out of yet another war, and all those deaths, right? All of the loss and all of the trauma that has been inflicted over the last 20 years in Afghanistan is on us. It's on us, on all of us, So what can we do? What we can do is listen to people who are living these experiences, ask and listen and find out what they need from us. Be proactive, right? Call our representatives. Tell them to open up the fucking borders for refugees. Take your friends to volunteer. Yo, anything you can do, dog. Anything you can do is better than nothing, I think that we suffer as a society from apathy. We suffer from feeling like the things that we do are irrelevant and maybe don't matter or are not big enough, right? Like big enough to make a difference. But at the end of the day, y'all, if all of us take responsibility and try our best to raise our consciousness and do something, the needle moves in the right direction. We can't just let life pass us by and let other people with fucked up ideals and fucked up interests take the reins, because they're being proactive and they're organizing and they're doing the shit that creates the world that they want to live in. And unfortunately, if we aren't doing the same thing, we're at the mercy of those people and of the visions that those people have. And the visions that some people have and some people in power have are elitist, are classist, are racist, are sexist, are homophobic, and it's up to all of us to do something about it, man. I think that's it for today. I just hope that y'all are keeping your head up, that y'all are masking up, that y'all are encouraging your family members to be safe, that y'all are having uncomfortable ass conversations with people, people you love and people close to you that will listen to you and not to somebody else, right? and love each other. Love each other. Find people that feel the way that you do and do something, dog. Anything. It doesn't matter what you do. It only matters that you do it. So that's it. What's my time, Frank?
4:22, 21.
Minutes left? Perfect. All right. So thank you for watching yet another episode of Decolonizing Is. Today I wanted specifically to talk about the process of decolonizing, right? And that's just work. If we're going to decolonize places, because colonization is ongoing. Colonization is happening right now. It's happening in the physical world, in the digital world. So yeah, I guess my advice as a novice and a friend is just to do something, man. Do something that moves you. Don't give up, and look for people, look for people, look for your people, look for your community. Find them, do something. So thank you for watching. If you'd like to chat, to have a dialogue, a discourse, we are at MyXXFly all over social media. If you'd like to support our work, we are patreon.com/MyXXFly. And thank you for watching. Love y'all.